Welcome to the Adoption Show. I'm Amber Carr, and this show is all about adoptable dogs. We believe that every home deserves a dog and every dog deserves a great home. So let's go see some adoptable pups. Coming up next, we have some amazing people helping dogs everywhere in this industry. Hi, I'm Amber Carr, and we're at Andrea Arden Dog Training here in New York City. And we're gonna talk to Hannah Richter, who's going to talk to us about everything dog training because she's a certified dog trainer. We're gonna get into early socialization and training and how that can help successfully get dogs into homes and keep them into homes. So let's go talk to her. I'm here with Hannah Richter and the lovely Millie, right?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to talk with you, but also to play with a puppy.
I know, she's adorable.
She's so cute. Thank you so much for bringing her. And I wanted to ask you, because we do have a puppy here, and as a fellow dog trainer, I know how important early socialization is for dogs. And it's kind of tricky because when you're adopting a dog, sometimes you don't really know what you're getting from them. So can you tell us how early socialization and maybe some training can help those newly adopted dogs into homes, set them up for success?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that getting your puppy into training early on is one of the absolute best things that you can do for a new dog, especially a rescue, because we start to really introduce the puppies to new things that they'll see in their environment.
Right.
They get the experience of meeting new people, interacting with other dogs, and all of that is socialization,
Right.
which we talk a lot about in dog training. But what that really means is that we're getting our puppies exposed to the things they're gonna be interacting with in their environment day to day. And we wanna make sure that they aren't then afraid of things when they go outdoors.
Right, it's a really big transition for any new dog or puppy coming into a new home, and it's why people like you guys here at this dog training facility really help set those new pet parents up for success. Are there any things that you here in your classes or at Andrea's Arden Dog Training Center that you guys do specifically for those new pet parents to help set them up for success?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the first things that we like to start with is just puppy play and giving them time to figure out what play is, how to do it.
How to play.
Yeah, exactly. And it's unbelievably amazing how much that can help them. I've watched puppies go from being so fearful to coming out of their shells and having a blast with play. So that's one thing that we do is play. Another is that we start to just train them on some new skills, which can really help their communication with people. Puppies don't naturally know how to communicate with us. And so by starting training exercises like sit, down, teaching them their name, we're able to then build a bit of a language, which can help just get them more adjusted in the world overall.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because it also applies to older dogs too that are adopted because you can train a dog any age. They don't have to be a puppy to be socialized or trained. And it's really great that here at this dog training facility and dog trainers in general can help guide you through those steps of being able to communicate with your dog and teach them new things. So are there any like common problem behaviors that you're seeing in adopted dogs often that maybe new pet parents don't know how to handle, and how do you guys deal with that?
Sure, so something we deal with a lot in the city, and I'm sure is true for other cities too, is just fear of all of the stimuli. There's so many loud sounds and so many people and different things moving around. So getting them used to different surfaces, getting them used to different sounds, I think is something that's really important for them. And it really makes such a big difference if you just spend a little bit of time on it.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I mean, it's something people don't really think about, you know, when they're bringing a new dog home. I think a lot of times new adopters hope and expect that dog to just mesh right in right away. And so can you talk a little bit more about that transition period for a newly adopted dog or puppy and what new pet parents can expect and how to set them up for success?
Yeah, of course. I think the first step when you first bring home a new puppy is just starting to get to know them. A lot of the time we don't know what happened previously with our puppies who are rescued or our adult dogs as well. So just starting to get to know their personality and temperament, I think, is the first step when bringing them home. Getting them adjusted to a schedule right away so they know a little bit more of what to expect, I think, is a really important step for getting them accustomed to their new space. And then starting to just get them used to what's around their home. So taking them outside, getting them used to the streets, used to what they're going to be seeing and smelling. I think that's one of the most important things to start with.
Yeah, all those things are so important. And, you know, like we really want to encourage people to adopt dogs and find their new best friend. And I think finding a trainer to help guide them along the way so that they can have a successful dog and prevent them from maybe being returned back to the shelter, it just has so much value. So I wanted to ask if you guys had any successful stories or any rescue dogs that you've seen kind of transition and light up through the help of training.
Oh, so many. And I think that's why I love my job so much, is I get to watch dogs build confidence and really learn how to exist in our crazy and stimulating world. There was a puppy last month who started off puppy class totally freaked out, like shaking, hiding under the chairs, didn't want to come out at all, was barely taking food. And by week 4 of the class, after getting used to everything, she is so confident. She's a beautiful player now. She really thrived with learning new training exercises. And those are really the moments that I think are the most rewarding as a trainer, is when you get to see that progress.
Right. I mean, that's such a beautiful thing to witness and be a part of. And it's like you're holding the family's hand as they're like navigating all these things. And it's so cool to see that moment with the dog and with the family and being able to be a part of that. So if you're in New York, definitely come here.
Please reach out if you're in
But
New
if you're
York.
not, there's other places you can find a trainer to help you along with your adopted dog as well. And maybe you can even reach out to a trainer before you adopt a dog and they can help you find the right dog for you, which is a really cool thing.
I think that that's a great suggestion, and getting started early is always going to be the most helpful for the dog. So I think upon bringing a new dog home, it's good to have a trainer just in the back of your mind that you can start working with.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. As a dog trainer with you, like everything you're saying is just absolute gold. So thank you so much for sharing all this information and for bringing little Miss Millie here.
Of course.
I really hope that, newly adopted dogs and families just have a trainer to help guide them like you. So thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I think what you're doing is awesome, and I hope lots of doggies get adopted.
Yes, me too.
You, understanding your dog. Learning to read your dog's body language helps you understand their needs and emotions. A wagging tail doesn't always mean happiness. Look at the whole picture. Respecting signals builds trust and prevents issues.
I'm here with Victoria Stillwell, dog behavior expert and founder of Positively. You have done so many amazing things for the dog training world and for new pet parents. And so I'm so excited to talk with you today.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
So for people who are thinking about adopting a new dog, what is something that you want them before adopting potentially to kind of think about when they're making that decision?
Well, I think adoption is done a lot of times with your heart. And it's difficult to think rationally because you're so excited. But I would like you to think, if the dog could sit you down and interview you about, like, are you the right candidate for them to go home with, to come and live in your home? When we want to adopt, we do make a lot of decisions quickly. And I think this gives an adopter time to think not only how is this dog gonna come and impact my life and fit in my life, but what can I do to make sure that I fit into this dog's life, and I give this dog what this dog is going to need.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we so many times look at dog for adoption like we're doing them a favor, which we are. We're including them in our home, but how can we make sure that all of their needs are met? Let's say if someone did the interview and they're feeling like, okay, I feel like I can provide what this dog needs. What next? Like what should this person do next to try and see if they can fulfill the needs of that dog?
I always say, especially in the first couple of days, is really do less. Don't do more, do less. And that just means giving the dog time to just be. Just give the dog time to get to know its environment. Your dog will be much happier doing that before it's introduced to everybody else.
So on that note, you obviously have lots of resources that people can maybe look into if they are looking to build that community. So can you tell everybody about those resources?
The resources are fantastic resources. That's like everything you need to know about dog training and behavior is at positively.com. And we don't just, it's not just written resources, we have courses for dog lovers. We have courses for animal care professionals as well, but these courses are amazing. And they're really interactive, they're entertaining, they are not boring. And some courses are 30 minutes long and some are an hour long, but they just really take you into your dog's world. And it's not so much about training, this is how you do this. We do have courses on that, but a lot of our courses center on understanding. I love that. How are you going to have a bond with your dog? How is your dog going to just succeed in your home? And how are your dog and you going to be a team? Because that's what it's all about. How's your dog going to listen to you? How's your dog going to be happy? I just love Positively because it does have so many accessible resources that are grounded in science. We are science-led the whole way through.
Wow, you guys are doing so much, so much to help dogs, help people. One last thing I wanted to ask you is that if someone's either, like you said, they're thinking about adopting a new dog, or they just adopted a new dog, they're doing their best to see if they can communicate and learn about their dog, what is one thing that you want that person to remember?
The most important thing for humans and for animals is safety. And it's not just good enough to be safe. A dog has to feel safe. And so I would say sort of the secret sauce is that if you can create an environment inside and outside where your dog feels safe, if you can teach your dog in a positive way that increases their confidence, if you can use enrichment in your dog's life, and if you can understand what your dog needs to be successful, you guys are going to have a great life together.
I love that. My goodness, that was just like cherry on top. I love it. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. And goodness, that was so much amazing information. And I just really appreciate you sharing that with everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Your best friend might just be waiting for you right after this.
When you first bring your dog home, make sure you don't overwhelm your dog with too many visitors, too many experiences, or too much attention. Allow your dog time to acclimate to his new environment inside and outside of your home. Let him go at his own pace. Just be there to give him confidence, and whenever he comes to you, give him praise, because that will start to develop the relationship between you.
Adopt a dog through the Adoption Show and receive an exclusive welcome kit. When you open your heart and home to a rescue dog through the Adoption Show, you'll receive an incredible adoption package designed to support you and your new furry friend. Buy Series 3, Smart Dog Collar. Stay connected with your pet through real-time GPS tracking, activity monitoring, and health insights. This top-rated collar ensures your dog's safety and well-being. And a 1-year subscription to Dog TV. Provide your dog with engaging, scientifically designed content to keep them relaxed and entertained when you're away. This exceptional package is our way of saying thank you for choosing to adopt and making a difference in a dog's life.
I hope that any of these dogs may have caught your attention, you feel a connection with them, and if that's the case, reach out to the rescue, because this might be your forever friend waiting for you. Okay, Dr. Courtney Campbell.
Yes.
If I'm adopting a new pet,
Okay.
what veterinary care are they going to need?
It's all about that initial visit, right? That initial visit tells us so much. Why is that? Because when you know normals, the abnormal becomes so much more apparent. So when you adopt a new pet, first things first, see a veterinarian, establish that relationship. They can definitely give a very thorough physical exam and identify what's normal for your pet. In addition, they'll talk about ideal time for spaying and neutering, they'll talk about microchipping, and they'll talk about prevention programs like vaccines and parasite prevention programs. So that first visit can mean so much.
Hi, new pet parent. I'm Dr. Renee Schmid with Pet Poison Helpline, and I'm here to give you an essential tip to help with your new pet. Monitor pest control measures. Rodenticides, insecticides, these both pose significant risk to dogs. If you must use these products, place them in areas completely inaccessible to your pet. Consider pet-safe alternatives, and always follow the manufacturer's instructions to minimize potential hazards.
And that's all of this week's adoption show, but next week we'll have even more adoptable dogs waiting for their home. If any of these dogs caught your eye, be sure to reach out to the shelter to see if that's your perfect match.